The transmission system that powers our homes, energizes our communities, and makes our nation strong is a growing concern among industry experts. Our existing national power grid simply can't handle the demands of a new technological age. Plans are now underway to help shore up the system in every region in the country, including ours. The Potomac-Appalachian Transmission Highline, or PATH, will help relieve the stress on the region's electric delivery system. But property owners like you will certainly have questions about the project and how it might affect you. We want to work with you and help you understand the process. Here's how it will work. Your PATH right-of-way agent will be your primary point of contact with the company throughout the process. The purpose of the initial face-to-face meeting is to familiarize you with the project and the timeline. This will be a good opportunity to review maps of the route and discuss the unique details of your property. We'll then request your permission to conduct survey work and environmental studies on your property. You will be fairly compensated for the use of your land. In most cases, we will negotiate an option to acquire an easement. The option price will be a portion of the fair value established for the easement. When we exercise the option, the balance of the price agreed to for the easement will be paid. If we do not exercise the option, you will retain the option price previously paid to you. Similar to the deed for your property, the easement agreement will be recorded so future owners will have legal notice of the existence of the easement. Although Allegheny Energy and AEP have formed a joint venture to construct PATH, the option to purchase the easement will be entered into in the name of PATH West Virginia Transmission Company, LLC, for parts of West Virginia outside of Jefferson County, PATH Allegheny Transmission Company, LLC, for Jefferson County, West Virginia, and Frederick County, Maryland, and PATH Allegheny Virginia Transmission Corporation in Virginia. Remember, you will still own the land, and there will be no restrictions on use of the land outside the easement. And some uses, such as farming and grazing livestock, may even continue in the easement area. What happens once construction begins? First, we may need to clear the easement area to ensure proper clearances, safe operation, and safe access. Any timber cleared belongs to you. Please keep in mind these activities will not likely begin until the project is approved, which won't occur for at least a year beyond our May 2009 filing date. Your PATH right-of-way agent can help you fully understand how and when we will clear and maintain the right-of-way. In the meantime, we'd like to share a series of testimonials from other landowners who were recently involved in a project similar to PATH. We hope you'll consider their reactions to the process, as well as the project's impact on their lives after it was placed in service a few years ago.
When my husband proposed to me, I jokingly asked him, "What do you have to offer me?" And he said, "I don't have a lot, but do you see that mountain? I'll give you that." And I said, "I'll take it." And I said, "Yes." When I found out that AEP was going to run a power line across that mountain, I came home and I wept.
I had discussed it with several people here at work and told them that, we have to have those power lines. They have to be placed somewhere, and everybody wants them, but not in their own backyard. And then I found out that they were going to be in my backyard.
And they showed us the proposed route, and our biggest concern at that time was the view shed of this particular area. The measures that were taken environmentally to control the tower sites worked. There's several towers that run parallel to the park, right just off our boundary line. And we had no erosion effects or anything of that nature from those towers being there.
We did a lot of visual simulation work on our project. They went out and did a very scientific study of how the project would appear on the landscape.
Predominantly it's hikers and horseback riders. So they actually ride under these lines or walk under these lines. So if they saw something that they really didn't like, they would definitely make a point. And to this date, we have not had a negative comment since the new line was started.
Those myths were dispelled. We have drinking water that's pure and great. Our livestock have not been damaged.
You're always apprehensive somewhat about something that you're not sure about, but once we started talking with the people at AEP and understanding exactly how the project would be worked, you know, the special lines to keep down on the noise.
Yeah, the 6-bundle conductor, which is the first time ever applied in this country, has performed, you know, magnificently.
The towers have a special coating that it's not as reflective as the older style towers.
You notice it's very darkened, it's very low reflective. That's by design, where basically you take your steel from your fabricator and you dip it in an acid bath, and it takes off the high reflective glare.
I don't even think about it. Visibly, you don't even see all of those towers.
You know, I think if you go out and look for the line, I've heard a number of people make comments to me over the last couple of years after we put it in service of how well that it's been blended into the environment, you know, where we took opportunities to you know, put it in behind the hills, along the sides of the ridges, and, you know, try to keep it as visually less conspicuous as possible.
Visually, it's not seen. But in order to completely mask it, we decided to cross the river where there was a hydraulic. So you have the natural sound of the river blocking the humming of the lines.
It has not brought a negative impact with tourism. In fact, it is now the county's largest taxpayer.
Those towers are not the monsters that I first thought, and I do not have that level of fear and sorrow. 10 years ago, I think everyone was just as mad as I was.
The landowners were very concerned about devaluation of property, impacts to viewshed. You know, those kinds of issues were very, very highly proposed out in the public domain.
I felt they listened to me and they understood that I felt I was losing something.
One thing that was important to us was after the roads were cut and the trees were removed from the right-of-way, we wanted to renew the natural habitat for the deer and the wildlife. They allowed me to come up with my own seed mix.
They heard our concerns, and I think we worked as a team.
We tried to hold public hearings and public meetings, meet one-on-one with the property owners, you know, answer their questions directly, just really reinforce our initiative of communicating with the property owners to assure them of what the project was going to be like and how it would potentially impact them.
It's important that you know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and the details of what to expect. And I think having those expectations met has been real positive for both my husband and myself, because we didn't feel lied to or cheated.
Everybody needs to be heard, but we've got to move electric. It's got to happen. And whether it happens in your backyard or someone else's backyard, it's going to be there.
When you look back, you know, we had predicted, you know, the growth in electric consumption, you know, through our needs analysis, you know, in point of fact, today when you see the loads that are flowing through the system, you know, that growth has truly manifested itself.
Development opportunities have evolved from the construction of roads. Real estate values could have increased, and of course there's a tax benefit associated with that.
Any business owner will tell you that reliable energy is very important.
I think all communities, all Americans right now are understanding the need for reliable, redundant power. And it's a very important and critical part of economic and community development. It's a part of our everyday lives.
I know my needs are great. We have computers, we have televisions, we have cell phones.
The 765 kV line may in fact have added value to a rural community's ability to attract wind energy.
I think by and large, with the brilliance of hindsight, you know, it's done everything that we said it was going to do.
I think they met every obligation they said they would. I mean, I think the plan that everybody came up with collectively worked.
It's still my mountain. It's still beautiful. It's still there.
These positive experiences are not the exception. They indicate the care and concern we will have for every property owner affected by the project. If you have questions or want to know more, speak to your right-of-way agent. You may also visit us online at pathtransmission.com or call our property owner hotline at 888-290-0867. We all have the power to make a difference. Thanks for your part in the process.